Hi YouTubers, just had a package of 80 sheets of this uh, Saunders £90 rough. It looks quite mechanical. We'll see how we go. I bought a lot of it because part of it's a Christmas present. Uh, and I phoned Ken Bromley up, the all of his company, to find out a £90 equivalent that compares with the Winsor Newton that we had been using. I've still got some left, but there's no more of that. That was a finite supply. So this is what they came up with. So we'll try it out. I'm going to wet it all over. Oh yeah, it looks quite porous. Right into where the clips are. See, one brush load on the fabric, I would have done all this bit. But this needs two, at least two, probably a bit more. And when this, it will expand, so we'll just reclip it. So far, so good. Right, a lovely day at the moment. It's going to get very cold apparently. So a bit of burnt sienna. I'm going to do a sort of a lakeland scene. So we'll just put in a bit of light on this. The £140 paper is lovely to use for your work, but the amount I do, see, it all works out expensive. So I feel like chipping in towards the cost of this channel. Go on Patreon and splash out on it $3 or $4. You can see over nearly 300 videos on there. Right, so I'm using an artist quality, Sir Jackson's own brand of ultramarine. I'm finding the Winsor Newton just a little bit weak, but this is because I love mixing with the red. Get some movement in the sky. I got a bit darker with that at the top. And then where we're going to put water, just put in a reflection. Save you doing it later and dry brushing it. It all goes wrong. Okay, that seems to be all right. Let's just put a few little light clouds in. That will go nice and light, and perhaps a little bit heavier over the top. No blue, I don't like blue. I like grey skies. Get much more drama with them. Right, that will do. We'll reclip the paper. How's that on the side? Yeah, that's all right. Probably just a little bit bright, so let's take brightness down just a touch. So much to think about when you do all this. No, let's try the white balance. No, I'll leave that. Right, let's see how this, see how flat we can get it. The Winsor Newton £90 was very good for doing all this. And this is probably similar. It's quite porous, so it will take a bit of drying. Right, well, I quite like that. That's a good start. I've got some sweeping across here. Maybe we might just need to put a little bit in there just to balance it up a little bit. Okay, I'll give that a dry now, so I'll try and mute the sound if I can. So we've got it's still a little bit damp, but I want a bit of softness in those hills. I could have gone even darker with it up here to get this real good cloud shadow, but it looks at a 30-degree angle more or less. It looks like the rain's coming down a little bit, which would be okay for the Lake District. But my painting is based on Lake District from memory, or memories of the Lake District. I've been there once for a holiday, which was very lovely. We even did watercolours then. But most of my memories of the Lake District has been from superb BBC television programmes called Country File and others. But then being able to work from memory or from my own work has been a real blessing. I've got hundreds, well over 1,000 on Facebook that you can look at. You can work from them as long as you don't put my signature on or pass them off as if you've done them as originals, which I won't be very pleased about. But copy them by all means, because that's how I learned. Copying Roland Hilda or his trees anyway. Right, let's put a bit of distance, same colours, but we want a bit of make sure the paint's nice and dissolved. So let's just, it's not so much mountainous that they just do, it's a bit hills. Now a little bit heavier there, so I've got a bit of Payne's grey. So I want to differentiate that between the cloud behind. A little bit of alizarin and a bit of sienna. Just catching a bit of light maybe. Okay, let's just get that in. And we'll see how that merges. A bit of sienna. And yellow. You need plenty of cloth to take the surplus off of the brush. I'll see if that blends. And we can detail that later. Let's get a bit of thicker painting there. Get your horizon horizontal. I might even do a bit of marshy stuff. Now we're going uphill slightly, so we'll just what I do is just adjust them in the mount if we're not quite horizontal. Right, let's put in some trees now. Lovely ultramarine and burnt sienna. Lovely. A bit of green. But nice and thick. But that's straight out of the tube almost. Otherwise, when you put it on, it just disappears. So you need it nice and thick. So I might use some white gouache on this and put some buildings, hints of buildings. Get that nice and straight there. Okay, more sienna. Still too thin. We could have that as sort of an island if we want. Let's do that. That down there. I love doing this. Someone asked me this morning, one of my patrons, what was my favourite method? Well, my favourite method is knife painting. And if you're a UK citizen, you can watch the BBC iPlayer on Channel 4 and have a look at a fairly recent documentary on the late Catherine Williams, the great Welsh painter. I was surprised he didn't get the acclaim from those that can't paint, like they're called critics, art critics. They can't paint, but they can criticise. Sort of saying he really wasn't, didn't represent Wales. It was an idealised, stereotype Wales that he represented. But whatever you think about him, he was a fantastic knife painter. And when I look at his work, I get very excited. But you can't really copy him. You can copy him, but it looks as like you've copied it. Because those that know anything about art will know of Catherine Williams. He's probably the greatest Welsh artist. And when he died, it wasn't probably 12, 15 years ago. He left £12 million. That's how successful he was in his life, and he was true to his art. He didn't do. I don't think he did a lot in the latter days of plein air. He went out with a sketchbook and with watercolours and sketched and pencil, charcoal. Well, pencil mainly. And there's one of his famous portraits. It's in the National Portrait Gallery in London, next to the National Gallery itself. Oh, it's got a little bit of reflection in there. Not a lot. Now we're going to do something on here now. Now that's drying. Oh, that's paper. It's quite good. Well, more than quite good. It's jolly good. You must get some more of this blue. It's lovely. It's only artist quality paint, but a bit of paint on the palette. Well, let's have a little bit of bluey green now, but thick. Just going in here. By changing that colour, making it a bit cooler, just set it back a bit. And that's nice and dry. I might do a little bit of detail on the distant hills. Because all farmland, every bit of the Lake District, as beautiful as it is manicured. It's all man's footprint all over it. But it's very, very lovely. So we've got warmer colours coming forward, and let's put a bit of a bit of foreground in that now. I'm going to use Frank Clark's lovely hake for this, because it does lovely things. I keep showing you this, and forgive me if you've seen it 100 times, but it's got a slightly beveled end to it, which is very handy for doing texture, as you'll see. But you do need quite a bit of water on your brush to do it. But we want to do a foreshore, so we green, a bit of Payne's grey, plenty of green. Just to balance it. Warm it up a bit. Bit of sienna, burnt sienna. I'll put a little bit of a bush there. And let's get a bit of sienna in there. Don't have it all the same, just vary. I don't know if you can scrape out that much very successfully. A few glasses in. Look, that paper is lovely and flat. £90 weight. That's about as thin as you can really go for watercolour to make a sort of frameable picture. But that's a real quality paper. This is Saunders cold press, well, Saunders rough. Comes in blocks of 20, and it's about £11 a block, or 11 something a block. And I bought 4 blocks of it, because that way I got free postage. Drag it down. I'm painting over me water, but it doesn't matter. I love the cad yellow mixed with the burnt sienna. It's a lovely, lovely, rich, luscious thing. Okay, let's just bring that down. I'll have to do some rigger work and then I can show the reflections better. So let's just carry on across here. Look, it's just a feather touch. Right, let's get a little bit of heavier stuff in there now. Mixing all the colours on the brush. I put a bush in there or something, a bit of a tree, but I don't really want to interfere with that background too much. Let's get a bit of Payne's grey in there. Exciting, isn't it? Try something with a new material. Oops. Right, just carry on that with a bit of dark green. I like my dark green with Payne's grey, burnt sienna, and the cad yellow. That should do for that. Right, let's give it a dry. Something in there, never mind. Right, so I think that's looking quite good on the screen. Let's use the rigger now and just clean the brush. And we'll use a bit of gouache. Let's squeeze some out. Want it fresh. I'm just going to put some sails. I might put a little bit of building or something. A little bit on my palette. Don't get the gouache mixed with all your paints. Take your colours to your gouache rather than the other way around. Otherwise, you will find that your lovely transparent colours are no longer transparent. You can paint in bits of grass and all sorts with it. Nothing wrong with using a bit of gouache. A bit of wind in that one. Now, don't criticise my weak boat because I'm not a boat. Well, I'm so far from the sea. Okay, that could be a different sort of sail, couldn't it? Let's have some boats in here. if you do it too thin, it will disappear into the paint behind. Just going to put some just little masts, like a boatyard or something. Okay. Now I'll get this other little brush here. This is one of Alan Owen, my great friend, sent me. I don't really want it white. Let's have a bit of, oh, what we can do. Have a building. So a bit of a red roof on there. But I'll do that with a bit of that white brush. Oh, let's get a bit of dark. A bit of ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just put a black. Got a bit deeper there. That'll do. Just a little bit of je ne sais quoi. Okay. A little bit of rigger work in the foreground. A few grasses. There's a stick sticking up in there. Might be a marker. Something meaningless really, isn't there? Don't want to do too many of these, just to show a reflection. It's just the way to do it. But whatever goes up, bring it down. Turn into a bit of a old tree sticking up there. I'll do a sign, put a bird in it. Could have a bird in it. Okay, I'll do. Not going to. I could put a little bit of dry brush on there. I will. I'll just dry it off, so otherwise it won't work. Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Got it written up here big enough. But well, comes to us all. And somebody said, if you don't want to grow old, die young. I think that was from Annette. See, Stephen Cronin's got a book coming out in a couple of weeks. Good luck to him. he has success, and I hope at his age that he can get out of work and work completely professionally from Patreon and the book. All right, blog there. Right, I'm just going to I'll get my medium romance and hake, get it nice and wet, and take a bit of the moisture off, and then we'll bit of that cloud colour. That's a bit of that red and a bit of that blue, but not strong. Just to show a bit of wind ruffle. There we go. Rehearsal. That'll do. That'll just show a bit of cloud breaking up. I'll put it in a mount and we'll have a look at it. As you know, I've done this many times before, this particular one, but they're all different, and there is a limit to how many versions you can do of various things. I've got my repertoire, but you know, once you've seen one, you've seen them all, I don't think. So let's put that mount on there. It's quite a nice mount. How about that? Let's just take you up a bit so you can see the whole thing. See the unmute? And sometimes I forget. Now that's quite a light grey mount. I think that looks quite good. I'll just see if I can make any further adjustment with the brightness. No, I don't improve it. Colour intensity. Oh no, we don't want that, do we? That's about right. Yeah, I think that's okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll get that uploaded and you can watch it and make any comments. See you soon. Bye-bye.